There's some interesting social media news today, Josina, with a big-name quarterback unfollowing his team on social. What's going on with Kyler Murray?
So it's very interesting right now, because this is obviously major news, right? That Kyler Murray, but he is a first rounder. He is a quarterback in this league. Apparently has some posts removed from the Instagram, so it's now down to just 2. It's a photo gallery from the Pro Bowl, and then also another post referencing his Heisman win. So actually, when you go through the gallery of the pictures from the Pro Bowl, he does have a helmet that shows the Cardinals logo. So it's not like it's completely removing all of the references, but in comparison to the total amount of posts, yes, that is something to take note of. Now, I think the question is, why is that happening? Is it due to the contract situation? Now, here's what's interesting is because he entered the league in 2018. He's completed 3 years. So he's not necessarily obviously eligible like at the time most quarterbacks get, their, extension done, or they have the talk for the 5th-year option being done. But there is history. Patrick Mahomes got it done after the 3rd year. Eric Fisher from the Chiefs, another first rounder, also got it done after the 1st year. So I talked to a source earlier today. In their opinion, thinks it has something to do with that, but there are other things I think that are up for discussion as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've got the opportunity now to pick up his 5th-year option. That becomes fully guaranteed once they exercise that option. But to your point, he's got leverage always because the fact that he could potentially go pro in baseball. He's that sort of dual sport athlete. He can always flex that if he wants. Look, I think they'll get a long-term deal done, but I think a lot of it has to do with maybe what happens to next year with him and Cliff Kingsbury, since they seem to be a marriage that from the onset of that draft pick, really the hiring before that, but once Steve Keim, and you can speak to this, once he identified Kyler Murray as the pick, he found Cliff Kingsbury as what he felt like was the best option to go with Kyler Murray. So the reality is it's a big year ahead of him, and there's still a lot to decide. I don't know what to make of social media. Right? I'm a dinosaur. I have no idea how to use that.
Dinosaur, what that makes sense. You don't see any tails back there.
I have no idea what to make of social media statements like this, if you will.
Yeah, and I think we overreact to him. I really do. Does he want a new contract? Obviously. Has he played to the point where he deserves a new contract?
He's gotten better every year.
He has gotten better, but has he done enough to prove that he deserves the mega contract? Because you're talking about making him probably the highest paid quarterback in the league if you give him a new contract. You know how it works, Brady. Next guy up, highest paid guy. Is he worth being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
Law of economics would tell us that it doesn't matter if he is worth it or deserving. It's what does the market dictate. And if it is, and here's the thing, whatever he signs for now, it's only going to go up. And it's only going to push this down the road another year. So the reality is, whatever you feel like that value is now, it's only going up in the NFL. So you better sign him earlier if you feel like he's your long-term option at quarterback.
And even if that's what the market dictates, the question is, when should that be? Should it be now? Especially, to Pete's point, when you think about the fact that the Cardinals ended their season losing 4 of 6, and then even though they had that really dominant, statement of a win against the Cowboys on the road, and the record that he had just being in AT&T Stadium and all that other stuff entering that game, just ending the season on that thud in the wild card game was just not necessarily the best statement.
He gets hurt all the time.
He's only missed 3 games in his career. 3 years.
Was he the same quarterback he was at the end of last
Everyone's
season?
Playing banged up.
Oh, Brady, he was different.
And no DeAndre Hopkins, by the way.
Hopkins. They didn't have
I'm not just talking about this year. Last year, same thing. Okay. He wasn't the same quarterback down the stretch. He's a little quarterback, and he gets hurt. There's concerns about that.
I understand there's concerns by it, and you can work that into the contract if you will. But the reality is it's better to do it now rather than later, because once you keep pushing towards free agency, the price tag goes up. You start to incorporate the 1st and 2nd year under franchise tags. So I'm just saying from an economical standpoint, it's better to get him under contract now. Now, you may look back and regret that, a la the Philadelphia Eagles, the LA Rams with Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, and those scenarios, how they played out. But the reality is it's cheaper to do it now. You can still get from underneath those contracts.
And what's interesting, too, is just, we talking about, when do you do it? But just even talking to a source before we came out on the set, I mean, there is chatter about this within the organization as far as, what the concern level is. I don't want to get too much into what they say because I think it's always important to talk to the principals, and I have not yet had an opportunity to do that. But they certainly have, their opinion. And, as to just what the mind state is right now, you talk about the way that he ended the season, but it's still, I think it begs a question, should that even be a question when they finished the season 11-6, second in the NFC West, and progressively since he's been there, they've gotten better. 5 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. So, what is the issue? And then if it is contractual, is it deserving now? You know what I'm saying?
To your point, they've taken a step every single year. You can say whatever you want about him being banged up, not the same player. Every year he's gotten better, they've gotten better. What other case do you need to make?
Well, look, beginning of the season, they looked like they were one of the best teams in the league, and he was playing great football.
I would say, 12
then
or 2 weeks into it?
Then he got banged up, and he won the same quarterback.
He missed 3 games.
They still were able to win without him. His whole thing is moving around.
Was Baker
running.
Mayfield the same quarterback this year than last year?
No, he was not.
Was he banged up?
Yes.
Okay. It happens. It's football.
Right, but he is a little guy who's been banged up 2 years in a row. It's a concern.
It might be a concern, Pete, but are they going to sign him to extension?
Well, I mean, you almost have to now, the way the league is structured.
There you go.
And they might end up
argue for the sake of arguing.
Well, but lastly, just to say, because you make a very great point about it's not, about what the market bears, right? But so General Manager Steve Keim, the leverage is in his hand as far as not having to do it in the 4th year. He can wait to the 5th year. You have the tag and all these options, so you don't necessarily have to do it. And oh, by the way, even though Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson came into the league a year before, they haven't gotten their deals done yet. And then, there are examples like Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota who never got it and obviously went to another team.
Kyler's season ending at the hands of the LA Rams in the wild card round.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.